Hello guys, so welcome to today's first lesson on chemistry and more concept. So today we're going to dive we'll talk about what is more concept, and then also we're going to talk about the relative masses. Now what are these relative masses? But before I talk about this, first now when we talk about the study of the branch of chemistry, there's one which is specific, what we call stoichiochemistry. Now this one, it deals with the quantities of reagents in the reaction and quantities also of the products that are made. Now, in other words, when I talk about this, because this is the relationship of quantitative any between two substances, meaning that there is maths behind of every chemistry. So we're going to talk about more and more about this, but let me just welcome you on this one. So let's dive in now, talk about more concept and also relative masses. So what is more concept? Now, more concept is the fundamental way to count large numbers of atoms, molecules, or ions. Now, this one is very important because we're going to talk about more in terms of calculating, dealing with calculation in short, with more concept. Now, let me talk about what involves in relative masses. Now, when we talk about relative masses, we're going to talk about relative molecular and formula masses. Now, when you look at these two, we also call them mixed. Now, why do we use the same formula? Meanwhile, the other one talks about molecules, the other one talks about the formula. Now, when you talk about the first one, which is the relative molecular mass, now this one deals with any covalent molecules. For example, when we talk about water, okay, and then the other one is talk about more of a formula unit of any ionic compound. For example, I can give of sodium chloride, which is salt. Now, remember, most of these are there, especially when we talk about moleculars. Now, most of moleculars, they are known as what called diatomic molecules, such as when we talk about chlorine, nitrogen, when we talk about oxygen. Now, these have relative molecular masses that are twice their relative atomic masses. So we should be careful once when you are calculating these. Now, allow me to define what is relative molecular mass. Now, this is the sum of all the relative atomic masses of all atoms that makes up a molecule. While when we talk about relative formula masses, I can define it as the sum of all the relative atomic masses of all the ions that make up one formula unit of an ionic compound. Now, let me give you first examples on how to calculate relative molecular masses and also relative formula masses. So, there, our first example says calculate the relative formula mass of aluminium phosphate. So there's our aluminium phosphate in formula or chemical formula. Okay, now let's dive into it so that we can solve how to get. Now, the first step on how you do this is, first of all, you arrange each and every element given to you into this formula compound. So let's do this now. The first one we have aluminium, yeah. Then second one we get phosphate. Now, when we talk about phosphate, there we have potassium, which is alone, but there you have here, which is 4, then you multiply with 3, meaning 3 multiplied by 4, then 3 multiplied by P, because this P phosphate, it has got only just 3. And then not only just that, but also we're going to get oxygen, and oxygen has got 12 there. Then now, there, that's our first step. So now, continuing on this one. So there, let's look at what's happening here. Now, what we'll do is that aluminium goes 27. So I'm going to set 27 multiplied by 2, which will give me 50. There, you can see this is 54. Then I'll come here on phosphate, which has got, when I come to recall, the last time I checked, it has got 31. Then this one is got 3. Then when I multiply, I have something like this. Then again, this one goes 16. Then multiply by 12. Then we'll get a calculator, you punch in, you have something like this. Okay, there. Now, having these all numbers, I don't want to add the entirely looking at according to the question. But first of all, what I'll do is that I'm going to write Mr. Why do we write Mr.? Because remember what I talked about this, introduced about talking about Mr. for each. Okay, now let us write Mr. now so that we can have the total number or the total everything that we need. So you write Mr. So we're going to add everything here now. There, so you can see it clearly. Now, once when you have this, your total, once when you add, so meaning adding, you get a calculator. So this is my calculator here. So we are going to punch by saying, there, let's look at, say 54 plus 93 plus, then we'll get 192, 192. Then I'm going to say equals. So there, that's our total. We're going to have 339. So there. Meaning this is how you solve once one ask a question to find relative formula mass. So there is our. Now, someone will ask, what about when you talk about the units? So now, this Mr. here represent the units for everything here, what we have calculated. So if you have any question about this, you can comment, and also expect more videos on this one on YouTube. I'm going to drop the link so that you can follow us on YouTube the complete pattern of this. Thank you.